Hi there, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength, and I love using all sorts of different equipment to stay in shape. Today, I want to show you how to get a full body workout that will build strength, muscle tone, balance, and endurance using just a resistance band and a door anchor. So for our workout today, I'll need a resistance band and a door anchor, and I also need a sturdy door. So just test this out before you get going. Make sure that your setup works to support your body weight in all of these exercises. You'll also want to make sure you have enough standing space to make a snow angel. And as always, make sure you've got your water handy too. So we're going to set up our door anchor in the center of the door, and I want to set it up so it's kind of lined up with my belly button. You want to just make sure you secure your anchor there, and then I'm going to put the band through it so I've got an even amount on each side. For our first exercise, I'm going to face my back to the door. I want to put one handle in each of my hands, and throughout this entire exercise, I'm going to try to keep a straight wrist position. So I'm not going to cock them back. We don't want to have any stress on our wrists. I'm going to start with a hip width stance. I'm also going to think about keeping the ankles, knees, and hips equidistant throughout this whole exercise. So drawing the belly in, I'm going to lunge forward, and I want to land on the ball of the foot, press, pull, and then I'm going to step back. So try that on the other side. Draw the belly in, lunge forward, hold, press, pull, and then step back. So it's going to be really important that I do that pull in with my belly button throughout this entire exercise, because that's really going to help me keep my balance. I'm also going to try to step like my feet are on train tracks. So keeping the ankles, knees, and hips equidistant, not letting the knees come in towards one another. This should also result in me feeling it not only in my quads, the thigh muscles, but also feeling it in the glute muscles. Those muscles help us with balance, and they also help with knee stability. And then make sure you're making these movements separate. So I could just kind of, whip through this, and, I'll get a workout, but I'm using momentum instead of strength. So step out and hold with your belly drawn in. I want to press my fists towards one another and then roll the shoulder blades back as I bring the arms back and step back. So this is a complicated exercise. You're probably going to feel that pull left to right. Resistance bands are great for balance training. So you're doing all of the work to hold yourself here. So in my press and my pull, I want to focus on as I push the fists towards one another, my shoulder blades will rise up a little bit. And then as I bring the elbows back towards my rib cage, the shoulders should shrug down. So if it doesn't seem like your shoulders are going through that range of motion, see if you can get in touch with that. This is going to result in me not only training my shoulders, but also training my chest and my back. And that's the other thing I want to focus on with my hand position. I want to make sure that my hands are right outside my chest and they're not up by my shoulders at any point. As you progress with this, you're also going to feel like you can do deeper lunges. So these might just be little steps right now, and that is quite all right. And you'll notice that that band gives you an assist on the way back. Drawing the belly in and stepping forward, landing on the ball of the foot, squeezing the thighs and glutes as I press and pull, stepping back, switching sides, letting myself really test that balance left to right. All right, so just focusing on those mechanics for 1 or 2 more reps. All right, excellent job. So next I'm going to turn around to face my anchor point. We're going to do a squat. So in order to come into my basic squat, I'm going to line up my ankles, knees, and hips. I'm going to hold one handle in each hand, draw the belly in, squeeze the glute, tush muscles a little bit, and then drop down. So I want to make sure that my knees don't pass my toes, but the band will actually help me with that assist on the way up. So as much as I can, I'm trying to do this evenly on the left and right. So I don't want to shift the hips side to side. So see if you can focus on doing a couple even squats, keeping your eyes looking at an imaginary horizon line, and I'm going to keep my chest lifted. Now, as this goes along, hopefully you do feel like you can get a little bit lower. Again, you can use that assist from the band on the way up. You can make this a little bit harder for yourself by stepping a little closer to your anchor point, because then you're going to be moving more of your body weight with your own strength. So if you're ready for it, we're going to add a knee drive into this. So I'm going to squat down, and then I'm going to draw my belly in, drive my knee up, maybe beyond my hip if I can, place that foot back down in the same spot, and then go to the other side. Now, we just made this a lot more difficult. So if you need to do a couple of these and go back to some regular squats, no problem. So on my squats down, I'm trying to make those as even as I can left to right. And then I'm fully standing up before I raise my knee. When I raise my knee, I'm going to think about 3 balance points, both sides of the ball of the foot and the heel. And I will shift a little bit to the side when I raise my knee, but it shouldn't completely unbalance me. And if you can't lift your knee above the hips quite yet, no problem. You will definitely get there if you're diligent with this. So I'm only going to squat down so far as I can feel that even muscle engagement. I can draw the belly in and I can feel that squeeze in the tush. If you start to feel like you're arching your back in your squat and you don't feel it in the glutes, make sure you make those squats just a little bit shallower. All right, so whichever version you're working with right now, we're going to try just a couple more seconds of this, just really focusing on drawing the belly in as I squat down, and as I come up, pushing evenly through the legs. And if you're doing that knee drive, really focusing on that balance in the foot and that engagement in the core. Awesome job. Let's move on. Please feel free to grab water at any point that you need it. For our next exercise, we're going to do a single arm row. This is also going to challenge our balance differently. So I'm going to take both handles in the same hand. I'm going to draw my belly in, and I want to keep my chest lifted, keep my weight on that front leg, and step the leg back on the side that's holding the band. So you can tell, you immediately become kind of wobbly. You're going to really need to use your core in this exercise. So I'm going to stabilize, pushing into the balls of the feet, drawing the belly in, squeezing the glute muscles, and then do a single arm row. So I'm really going to pull that shoulder back and down as I'm pulling the elbow out to the side. If this feels too difficult, let yourself step closer to the door. I want to make sure that just like in our chest press, I can really roll that shoulder blade back and down as I pull. And then as I reach forward, it's going to rise back up. So thinking about that range of motion in the shoulder, again, it's going to help me train my back. And it's also really going to help me use my obliques in this exercise. So let yourself take this as slowly as you need to. Again, you can experiment, with how close you want to be to the door. If you're diligent with this, you will find that it becomes easier to use more resistance in this over time. And I know with resistance bands, they don't have a number of pounds written on them when we're using them. So it's a little tricky to tell exactly how much weight you're pulling, but you can definitely feel the difference. We want this to be just a little bit hard towards our last couple reps with me still being able to hold my form. So let's go ahead and switch and try this on the other side. So I'm going to grab both handles again in one hand, draw the belly in, squeeze the glutes a little bit, step back, hold my body weight between the balls of the feet, make sure I feel secure here. I'm not going to tip forward or back. And then I'm going to start doing my pull. So I want to make sure that I'm not so far away from the door that I have to lean way back to pull. I should be able to hold my torso upright. I should be able to keep my chest lifted. And I should really feel that front thigh burning as I'm doing this as well. So as I pull, I want to make sure that I'm pulling that shoulder blade down, pulling the elbow out to the side. You don't want so much resistance that you feel like that shoulder just has no room to move. We're training strength and endurance in these muscles. And so this is really going to give us a good amount of stability and mobility. And it's also going to help you get that toned body that you're looking for. The other thing I want you to pay attention to for a moment is your feet. So make sure that when you're standing in this lunge, you don't have that back foot turned out to the side. That's a very common compensation. I want to make sure that my ankles, knees, and hips stay in line with one another, just like in the other exercises. We're trying to strengthen the body in good anatomical alignment so that it holds in good anatomical alignment while I'm doing the other activities of life, and it feels good for me on a regular basis. All right, nice job. We're going to move on to our last exercise. So for our last exercise, I want most of the band extended on one end, and I'm going to take that handle and put it through the other one. So I'm just making a slip knot here. And once you feel like that's secure, you're going to want to make sure you've got enough room for your arms to reach out to the side. This is really where we're going to use that snow angel space. So I'm going to step the feet a little bit wider than my hips, not a ton wider, because if I step them too wide, then I will use that base of support instead of using my muscles for this exercise. So stepping the feet a little wider than the hips, I'm going to draw the belly in. I'm going to pull the elbow towards my rib cage, turn my back foot, and press. So now I'm going to try to control that in reverse. So you can tell this is a little bit difficult, right? So try that again. Draw the belly in, pull the elbow towards your side, turn and press. And you can see I'm not using the handles. So if you've got plenty of room, this is kind of a small room, so I don't quite have enough room to use the handle. But this gives me an ability to change my resistance level in real time, right? So if I want more resistance, I grab it closer to the anchor point. Less resistance, I grab it closer to the handle. So just take what you need here. So let's go through that again. Drawing the belly in, I'm going to pull the elbow towards my side, turn my body, turn that back foot, press, and then control and reverse. So as I'm turning and pressing, I'm really shifting my weight into that outside leg, even though I'm still keeping my chest lifted. And then as I turn back, I'm going to have my weight evenly balanced left to right. So there is a lot going on here. So if you need to just practice the arm part and then add in the lunge, feel free to do that. And I do want to make sure that I pull the elbow towards my side before I turn so that I'm protecting my shoulder and I'm using my core to help myself turn into that lunge and do that chest press. I'm mostly going to keep the weight in the balls of the feet so that I can pivot. So to the best of my ability, I'm trying to control in both directions and then remember what that shoulder is doing. So as I do that turn and press, the shoulder blade is going to rise up. And then as I bring the band back towards me, the shoulder blade is going to pull down so I can use both sides of my core, my abs and my back, to help me get back into that start position. So let yourself try one more, just trying to focus on what you're feeling in the legs, what you're feeling in the core and the arm. Nice work. So let's go ahead and try this on the other side. All right, so turning around, I'm going to position myself again so that I've got the feet just a little bit wider than the hips. I'm going to draw the elbow in towards my torso, draw the belly in as I turn and press, and then try to control back to that start position. So you might notice pretty immediately that this feels very different than the other side. Most of us are not just one side dominant. We actually have different dominances throughout the body, and that is going to affect our ability to turn. So if you tend to be right-handed, the push is probably going to be more comfortable for you on the right side, but the turn might feel a little bit unnatural. So just try to be patient with your body throughout this whole exercise. We're trying to work towards equilibrium to the best of our ability. So focusing on that pull in towards my torso, turning. I'm going to draw the belly in. I'm going to press out from my chest. I can feel the chest working and the back working as I bring that elbow back towards me, and then slowly turn my body back, use the band as an assist to balance my weight between my feet. In this lunge that I get into, I also want to make sure that I can keep the ankles, knees, and hips equidistant. This is one of those exercises where you could start feeling something unkind in the knee. So if you do, just let yourself come back to that start position. Maybe narrow your stance a little bit, come into a less deep lunge as you do that twist. And if you're still having knee discomfort, please check out one of my rolling videos, because it's quite likely that you've got tightness in hips or in the ankles that is giving you knee pain, and that is no fun. All right, try one more if you can, just executing all the elements of form that you remember. Excellent job. Thanks so much for making time to exercise with me today. I hope you take away some tips that help you not only in your workouts, but in your daily movement. If you're looking for more workouts, exercises, healthy recipes, or other healthy lifestyle tips, please check out the rest of my YouTube channel. And in the meantime, I look forward to continuing this journey with you. I'll see you in the next video. How was your day? Thank you for the kisses. How's your day been? This is so stressful. So stressful. Yeah. You did a good job today. I'm very proud of you. I think you earned a lean ground beef burger tonight. Do you feel like you earned that? Yeah. Okay.